What's up, y'all? It's me, Daria, and I'm here in my goofy Sonic Christmas sweatshirt. I hope y'all are having a happy holiday if you're into that kind of thing. And we are here for a nice, cozy week 6 here in the MBC. This week we are up against Owls and his Newport Noctowls. They are in pretty good shape. In fact, they're sitting 4th in the division, which is just behind me. I am in 3rd. I'm sitting at 3-2 plus 7 after an amazing Frostmoth week last week. Hopefully we can keep this energy going. I am really liking the way we're playing right now, and hopefully we can pick up another win. But we have a tough matchup here. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Owls has an insane offensive trio of Spectrier, Sneasler, and Terra Excadrill. So difficult to prep for. And that's Sneasler with Terrain. That is Terra Indeedee, which is also a threat, and Terra Excadrill with Sand from Tyranitar. Look at this team. It's crazy. It's got really, really good threats. And then with Screamtail, Rotom Mow, and Blastoise, you even have a really solid defensive core available to you as well. It's just, it's a really solid team, but it does have weaknesses. If you take a look here, his speed tiers are not that great. His slowest Pokemon is Tyranitar, and he has no counterplay to Trick Room. So we will definitely be leaning into that here with our build this week. I actually have a really funny win con. I think will be unexpected, but this is probably the only opportunity we're going to have this season to try to win this way. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna shoot my shot. If I fail miserably, so be it, but at least we'll go out in style this week. So let's go ahead and talk about what we have in store. So upon doing my research here, I saw that he really, really likes to lead with either Sneasler or Tyranitar. I do think Apophis leads really well into either of those. He also likes to lead with Rotom Mow, but I didn't see Rotom Mow in a single one of my mocks. So I made a few changes because of that. For instance, one change I made, originally I had Terra Bug on my Iron Hands with Terra Blast instead of Fake Out, so that I could break through that Rotom Mow a little bit easier in Trick Room. However, since I never saw the Rotom Mow, I decided to switch over to Terra Grass, which I do think is a little bit better for the Excadrill. It makes clicking Terra into Grass, it makes clicking the Terra button a little bit easier, because if we were Terra Bug before, we would have had to worry about having a rock move, which I do expect he will have, so that he can hit my Rotom Heat harder with his Excadrill. But I do feel like these 4 moves on Apophis with booster attack will basically guarantee we start this battle off with 1 or 2 kills. We don't let this go down either, because we can go back into this under Trick Room later and heal up with Drain Punch. So I just think Apophis is a strong lead here, unless the Rotom Mow does come. If the Rotom Mow comes, we will actually lead with a Muamua, our Dragapult. I think this is a much better lead into Rotom Mow. I think if we see Rotom Mow on the preview screen, it is likely to lead. And we can punish that because we don't care about getting Will-O-Wisp with this set. Also, if he tries to set up screens on us, we can just punish that with Infiltrator. And we can always just click Will-O-Wisp and spread status on things as well. So I just think Dragapult's a really solid counter lead to a potential Rotom Mow. It can also kind of break through things with the Hex Draco combo, and also grab momentum with U-turn. So next up we have Perseverance, our Iron Treads. We are Scarf instead of Booster Energy Speed because we want to be able to come in and out multiple times. Sometimes we want to come out and click Stealth Rocks. Maybe we want to come out and click Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. Maybe we want to bait the spin block and click Knockoff. My thought process is that if we click Stealth Rocks earlier in the game at a time when he has to switch out on us, he's not going to think we're Scarfed. And if we come back out later and he thinks we have to Rapid Spin, we could click Knockoff to catch the Spectrier and then outspeed on the following turn and maybe surprise him and catch him with a kill with the Scarf. So that's kind of my plan with this thing. Next up, we have Europa, our Frostmoth, coming off an amazing week. Honestly, this thing has been so good for us this year. We are Terra Dark, and this is basically my dedicated switch into Spectrier. Mirror Coat will let us ignore any of his Calm Mind boosts and do a ton of damage back. We also have enough special attack investment so that if he is +1 from a Calm Mind on his special defense, we can still break a sub. So yeah, that's what this is doing here this week. Not really a win con. Our win cons are really just Iron Hands and the thing that we'll get to here momentarily. But our Trick Room setter is going to be Space Pope, our Slowking. This is a Covert Cloak set, so it can come in on a Sneasler and not worry about Dire Claw being a bitch. We can also use his terrain against him if he decides to bring in duty with Expanding Force. And obviously we have Trick Room and Chili for obvious reasons. And then finally, our hilarious win con is Probed the Cacturne. We're actually going to try and win with Cacturne. We underspeed everything on this team, so we are the fastest thing in Trick Room. So we come out, and hopefully Blastoise comes, because if Blastoise does come, we can set up on that and just win. We do not have the Click Swords Dance to kill things, but if we can find a window to Click Swords Dance, we just win if Trick Room is up. So, assuming rocks are up as well. So, yeah, that is the plan for this week. I know trying to win with Cacturne is hilarious, and I really hope it works. We're gonna try, and if not, whatever, at least we tried something fun. I would always rather lose while trying to do something fun than just win every battle with really boring builds. I just think it's more fun to be creative and try out new stuff, and I have never won a game with Cacturne, so this would certainly be a first for me. So we're going to try it and see what happens, and we'll be right back for the battle. All right, y'all, so we are back here for the battle. Do have a little bit of bad news. So this is actually being recorded in so when I went back, and this happens like once a season for me. I don't know if it's that my memory in my external hard drive or on my computer's getting too full, but basically once a season I get a feed where it's just choppy, and it's so choppy that it's difficult to watch. And this was that game where the feed was very choppy. So we're doing this in post-com. We're also going to do space facts during the battle again because of how choppy it is. I want to make this as tolerable as possible. But we'll get to the space facts in a second. For now, we'll just focus on the battle. So taking a look at what Fowls brought here, we see Spectrier, Sneasler, Terra Excadrill, which was Terra Normal, Tyranitar, Screamtail, and Rotom Mow. I was a little disappointed to see the Rotom Mow because I never saw it in mocks, and I made to my set on my Iron Hands that made it less easy to break through. Before I was Terra Bug with Terra Blast with Booster Energy. It wouldn't have been able to live a Drain Punch into a Terra Blast if it was like a Trick Room or something. But instead, I no longer have the coverage to hit a physically defensive Rotom, so Apophis no longer looks as good. But because the Rotom is here, I actually pivot and decide that I need to lead with Dragapult, as I talked about in my team builder. Otherwise, I was always leading Apophis and trying to break through immediately. But since Rotom is here, I do have to lead with the Dragapult. So we see he decides to lead with against my Dragapult. I do have to fear Scarf here a little bit, like a Scarf Throat Chop, but I am Colberberry, so even if he is Scarf Throat Chop, I still live. And I decide that I will go ahead and roll the dice here. If he is Scarf, then I'm going to find out immediately, and I should be able to live a Throat Chop. If he's not Scarf, I'm going to burn him with Will-O-Wisp. So we're just gonna go ahead and click Willow and see how this first turn works out for us. Alright, so we see that he is not scarfed and our Willow lands. So turn 1 burn on the Sneasler is extremely good for us, assuming no Lumberry. We don't see a Lumberry pop. Instead we see a U-turn come out. He does get the Poison Touch. He does get the Poison Touch proc to go off. And based off the damage he did through a burn with that U-turn, I'm able to determine that he is in fact Choice Band. So this is a Choice Band Sneasler. Okay, and now we see he goes into the Tyranitar to go ahead and get that sand up. I am tempted to click the Will-O-Wisp button here. In hindsight, that probably was the correct play. But I'm already poisoned, and now I'm taking Sand Chip. I don't really want to take any more Sand Chip or Poison Chip. And then I will have to eat a +1, or I will have to eat a knockoff. I do have Colbur Berry, and he will be burned, so it shouldn't be too bad, but I do want to try and keep as much health on this Dragapult as possible. So after much deliberation, I decide to click a U-turn. U-turn comes out. We see he's not Scarf Tyranitar, but unfortunately he is eject button, so we do not get our momentum. He's actually the one that switches out, and we take Sand Chip and Poison Chip, and he also gets to go clean into nothing. So an extremely bad turn for me. I would have much rather have burned him there and picked up a I would have much rather burned him there. Although, another thing I was a little worried about was Thunder Wave coming out, because I have seen him run Thunder Wave a couple times in some of his battles this year, so that was another reason. It's like hindsight 2020 kind of thing. Like, now that I know he had a eject button, like, clicking U-turn was obviously always the wrong play. And now he gets clean into this monstrosity. His Terra Excadrill comes out in Sand, which does outspeed me. So I'm forced to switch out here unless I just want my Dragon. And I do not. So I actually go into Slowking here. So I switch out. Go into Slowking here. Face Pope coming back out for the first time in a few weeks. And we actually see him click Rock Slide. I'm assuming that was to try and catch the Frostmoth, which is kind of funny. I mean, I was never, ever going Frostmoth on a potential Iron Head. It just wasn't going to happen. But whatever, I'm fine with this, right? I get Space Pope in, hardly take any damage. He can't kill me with anything here. So I go ahead and use this as an opportunity to set up my Trick Room. So he goes ahead and tears here. Now he's Terra normal, probably so he doesn't just die to a Scald, which, you know, that's fair. Goes ahead, shows off the Earthquake. We take a decent amount of damage from it, but not too bad. We get our Trick Room up, and now we can chilly out, heal up, get rid of the sand. And I can't go into hands here because obviously Earthquake is a thing. But I can go into Cacturne. Even if he clicks Earthquake here, I should be able to eat one of those and still be able to set up. At least I'm hoping. I'm hoping I should be able to eat one, click Swords Dance, go +2, and then punch a hole here. Since we did not lead with Iron Hands, the plan now is to try and win with Attack Booster Iron Hands in Trick Room later in the game, once maybe we've worn down the Rotomo a little bit. So into Cacturne we go. Now I'm thinking, you know, he's going to click Earthquake again. I'm a grass type. I resist this. I should eat this, no problem. and that is a clean 50% hit. Takes me right to 150. I cannot click Swords Dance. After running the calcs, I do believe that was an absolute max roll. I think that was the only time he ever rolls that hit, unless he's like soft sand or something. But either way, I can't risk clicking Swords Dance again. So I have to just click knockoff here. Now I'm not gonna kill this thing, but it'll do a ton of damage, and he'll lose his item. So I mean, that's the best I can hope for at this point. And then maybe go clean into Iron Hands and Terra, so he can't kill me. But actually, he winds up switching out, and he goes into his Sneasler, which is fair because it's burnt, right? He doesn't need this anyways. He's basically sacking this off, I think, at this point. So I knock off his Choice Band. It actually does a silly amount of damage. He takes his burn chip, and we have the Zen Headbutt coverage for this thing, so we go ahead and click Zen Headbutt. And now is probably a good time to reveal that we are doing the Space Facts this week in honor of Probed, since, Probed picked up a kill here in Trick Room, a Sneasler. That's pretty cool, right? But we're not doing just any Space Probe, because obviously I'm going to do Space Facts about Space Probes since it's probed. I'm going to do Space Facts about my absolute favorite Space Probe, and that is the James Webb Space Telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope is a wonderful, wonderful space probe slash telescope that has made tons of wonderful discoveries since being put out into orbit. And it's not orbiting the Earth, by the way. It's actually orbiting the Sun. But it is in this very specific location. It's called the second Lagrange point. So it's orbiting the Sun, but it's perfectly in line with Earth, so that Earth is protecting the James Webb Telescope from the heat of the Sun. And it's because of the way Earth's gravitational pull is and the Sun's gravitational pull, there's some weird, I'll see if I can get a diagram to show y'all up on the screen, but there's some weird gravity shit going on that allows the James Webb Space Telescope to basically stay in lockstep with the throughout the orbit. So it's really, really cool. It was actually launched in 2021, December of 2021, and there's just so many really amazing pictures for me to share with y'all, and that's mostly what this one's going to be. I'm mostly just going to be sharing pictures taken from the James Webb and telling you what we're seeing. I'll go over a couple interesting discoveries made with the James Webb. Also, we're knocking off the leftovers on the Screamtail because Trick Room is still up, and I kind of figure that Cacturne is going to do all it's going to do. It's at half health. I can't really switch it in Trick Room on anything else, so might as well just take my kill on Sneasler and the item and big damage actually off onto the Screamtail. But yeah, back to the James Webb. I will go over some of the discoveries made, but I mostly just want to share these amazing pictures with y'all. But for now, let's talk about the battle a little bit. So Cacturne is down, Trick Room is now up, and we got Screamtail out here. Wasn't super sure what I should do in this scenario. Maybe I should have went into Dragapult here. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. There's no way of really knowing what kind of Screamtail set this is. Ultimately, I pretty much figure that Slowking is in no fear of whatever this really wants to do regardless. So I can just set up a Trick Room again if I want to. And just go right into Iron Hands maybe, and maybe try to break through, maybe try to set up for a late game Scarf Tread Sweep or something. I just I don't know, at this point in the battle I was just kind of I was really bummed that Cacturne took so much damage from the Earthquake, and I wasn't super thinking all my plays through at this point. I was like, whatever, I got Trick Room, I'll just keep Trick Rooming and maintain speed control and just do what I can with Iron Hands and see if Iron Hands can just win this on its own. So I do set up my trick room. He reveals Calm Mind, which is a little spooky. But now I can Chili out into the Iron Hands, which a little spooky again because he's +1. And a +1 Dazzling Gleam isn't going to feel great. There's part of me that's tempted to go into Europa, but Europa is here specifically for Spectrier. I don't want to do that yet, so I basically just have to Chili and hope that we can live. Well, we know that we can live a +1 Dazzling Gleam based off the calcs, but we just gotta hope that we can get that health back with Drain Punch, I'm thinking. So he stays out, Chili goes off. We go out into our Iron Hands here. So this picture is actually the first picture publicly released that was taken from the James Webb Space Telescope, and it's just a picture into deep space. But at this point in time, it was the deepest in space we had ever seen, ever. And look at this picture. It's so beautiful. It's like at a first glance, it's just like, yeah, okay, it's space, yeah, sparkly, pretty. But if you like zoom in and really look at it, and I'm gonna put a link in the description of a place where you can see all of these pictures plus more from the James Webb Space Telescope, because you really need to see these like zoomed in for the pictures to really do justice here. But you can literally see little galaxies here on this picture. You can see the little spirals and like stars, and oh my god, it's just such a beautiful picture to just look at. Anyways, Iron Hands has now hit the field, our booster energy pops, and he, at +1, reveals that he is Fire Blast Screamtail, which does nothing to us. Thank God we don't get burned. Now here I kind of misplay, right? So here I'm in a situation where like, okay, I'm pretty sure he's got to go into Rotom mode. So I really want to click Drain Punch. However, he is +1. He is revealed Fire Blast. I am Terra Grass. If he clicks Gleam, I'm gonna take 1,000,000. If I Terra and he clicks Fire Blast, I'm gonna take 1,000,000. I just need to click Heavy Slam and make the safe play and just get my damage off. If he stays out, I'd rather pick up this kill here. Because if he stays out and I don't kill because I click Drain Punch, I'm gonna take so much damage, and then I've just wasted a turn in a Trick Room. I kind of figure, you know, I just gotta click Heavy Slam and try to get a kill. In hindsight, maybe I could have like clicked Supercell Slam, would have been like a decent mid-ground. Although, maybe not. I mean, it's basically the same as clicking Heavy Slam because it's quad resisted from Rotom Mo. So like, I basically either had to click Heavy Slam or Drain there. And I just didn't have the courage to click the Drain Punch into a +1 Screamtail. It just seemed like a bad play. So I clicked Heavy Slam. He does go into Rotom Mo. He takes nothing from this Heavy Slam. He reveals that he's Rocky Helmet, so I'm taking Chip. And he's not anywhere near range of any of my attacks. So even if I had brought Terra Bug, I think he lives one unless I click Drain Punch on that turn. Then a Drain Punch, attack boosted Drain Punch into a Terra Blast does kill, but not a Heavy Slam Terra Blast. So either way, I was always gonna have to swap out here, which really sucks because he's gonna click Will-O-Wisp. Since I know he's gonna click Will-O-Wisp, that kind of lets me into Europa pretty free, but like it still sucks because I've burned my booster energy and I've taken a decent amount of damage on Iron Hands at this point. So we're just in really rough shape, y'all. Like, and Dragapult's hurt and poisoned, and my Slowking is a support Trick Room setup. It's not an offensive Slowking at all. So like it looks really bad right now. So he swaps out, obviously, or I'm sorry, so I swap out, not him. I swap out, obviously, go into Europa on the Willow. We still have a turn of Trick Room, so we still have speed. And he doesn't have an Ice Beam switch. He just doesn't have one. So I decide that I'm Ice Beam here and try to get damage on stuff. I mean, I guess he can go into a potential Tyranitar here, but I don't think he wants to click Tyranitar and potential Bug Buzz. You know, I really don't think that's something he wants to do. So I figure Ice Beam's pretty free. In hindsight, maybe I should have clicked U-turn here, but I just thought Ice Beam made more sense, you know? So that's what I clicked. This is another absolutely breathtaking picture. This is of Neptune with Neptune's rings. Look how fucking pretty it is. You can also see 6 of Neptune's moons in this picture as well if you look closely. It's so fucking pretty. Look at this. This is the last time we got a picture of Neptune's rings this clear was in 1989. So like this is just like, this was an unprecedented picture. It was so cool. It was so cool. One of my absolute favorites. Anyways, we see T-Tar comes out on the Ice Beam thanks to the Sandstream boost. You know, obviously nothing. And now our Trick Room's gone, so our Frostmoth is just hanging out here in front of Tyranitar and sand. Very scary. I gotta switch out, right? Because I need this thing for Spectrier. I really need this thing for Spectrier. Even though it's burned, so dealing with Spectrier is going to be really, really difficult, but that's what this is here for. So we are going to go ahead and switch out here. We go into Perseverance. In hindsight, I think that was a bad play because I was afraid of... I should have been more afraid of knockoff, right? Just because he can knock off an item and it's going to do a lot of damage, and then I lose my Scarf, and then like I can't deal with Spectrier as well. But I go into it anyways, and he actually reveals that he didn't click knockoff here. Clicks Earthquake. So okay, you know what? Maybe not so bad that I didn't go into Iron Defense. Because this taking damage like that is okay, because I'm gonna come out with a Scarf anyways. I don't need this to take a ton of hits. That was basically what I needed. But now I know he goes into Rotom for pretty free, so I use this as an opportunity to get up my stealth. Alright, so rocks are up, Rotom's in. So we gotta swap out here. Kind of torn here, I'm not sure what to do. I went into Frostmoth last time, and I still need to keep Frostmoth healthy for the... I still need to keep Frostmoth healthy for Spectrier. But, you know... I think if he expects me to go Frostmoth, he always just is. So I actually want to stay in. I actually really, really want to stay in here. But I can't because I'm locked in, right? I'm locked in into rocks. That's why running Scarf Rocks is always a bad idea. I decide that what I am probably okay with is going Iron Hands here. It's probably going to be a Volt Swing. I know that it seems crazy going into Iron Hands on a potential Will-O-Wisp, but I don't think he clicks Willow if he expects me to go into Frostmoth, because it's a waste of a turn. So I think he just Volt Swings. So I just decide that going into Pop is here my best. So Pop has come out, he clicks Nightshade, reveals Nightshade, which I was not expecting, so we actually take a decent amount of damage there, and Sand Chip, which is not great, and now he can click Willow, so now I think it's time to double it. And while we're waiting for that turn to go through with his Super Choppy feed, I'm going to show y'all this absolutely breathtaking picture of, obviously, Jupiter. I'm sure anybody can guess what this is. This was taken with a near infrared camera, and you can actually see its faint rings there. There's also a couple moons. You can see one moon right at the tip of the ring there off to the left, and then a brighter moon further to the left there, and just, I mean, look how beautiful Jupiter looks. I love these pictures so much. They make me so happy. I'll just here. Let me get this other one of Jupiter up. I know like the game's going right now. He clicks Nightshade again, which like makes sense. I thought maybe he'd click Willow, so now I took unnecessary damage on Europa and more chip. Just in a phenomenal place right now. But look at this picture. This is another one of Jupiter. You can see its aurora is a little bit better here, but it's just so pretty. It's anyways, I U-turn out here. I know there's no shot he wants to stay out against potential Ice Beam or Bug Buzz. I figure he's probably going to go into Tyranitar again, so let's just U-turn. And while we're waiting on that, check out this picture. This is one of my absolute favorite pictures from the James Webb Space Telescope. These are known as the Pillars of Creation. They are located in Eagle Nebula. And there's nothing too crazy about these other than the fact that they're just really pretty. Yeah. This picture was like the background on my computer for like a year. So is this next one. This one right here is the Cacturne Nebula. It's basically just a nursery for young stars. So all those little sparkles you're seeing there are just young stars. This is also nicknamed the Cosmic Eclipse. So it's a wonderful picture. So on our U-turn, we actually see he goes into Excadrill. Now here, I should have always gone into Dragapult and clicked Will-O-Wisp. Every single time I should have. It's very clear that he went to spin here, but I wasn't thinking clearly. Instead, I go into Slowking, and I'm like, oh, Excadrill's here. I'll just go into Slowking and click Trick Room. No, then I can click Drain Punch with Iron Hands and get more health on Iron. I just wasn't thinking my plays. Very disappointing sight. Yeah, and there's the normal boosted rapid spin. He gets rid of my rocks. I could have blocked that with Dragapult, and I could have got a burn off on something, which would have been amazing. But instead, it just gets rid of my rocks, and we get Trick Room up. Or really, like, and now what, right? Because here's the thing. Since it's Trick Room in front of an Excadrill, I can't even go in Iron Hands because he just clicks Earthquake and I die. So, like, I just have to sit out here with my not offensive Slowking and click attacks. It was a very, very silly play. I should have always gone into Dragapult there. I don't know what I was doing, but whatever. We're out here now, obviously, and it's just rough. We're just in a really rough spot, and I am certainly not doing myself with these suboptimal points. I get the Scald off here. It does nothing. That was even a crit. And so now I'm pretty sure this thing is AV. So that's good to know. And he gets some good Earthquake damage off on Space Pope. I die to another one, so I gotta switch out here. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and Chili into Europa. Between the defense boost from Snow and my resistance to ground, it should be able to eat one, but I no longer have an answer to Spectrier. Right? I have nothing to switch in on Spectrier. So when Spectrier comes out, something's going to die. Maybe even two somethings. Maybe even I just lose. So we're in a really, really bad spot now. Yeah, so we Chili. He does stay out. Question here is, does he click Rock Slide, right? Does he expect me to... because I'm pretty sure I'm even in Rock Slide range at that point. So hopefully he doesn't click it. Go into Frostmoth. Here's the moment of truth. Oh, not really. I'm kind of overhyping it. Not really either way. But yeah, he clicks Earthquake. I do eat that pretty well, and we do have Trick Room, so I outspeed. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I can kill this thing, right? I'll just go ahead and click Ice Beam now. Get rid of this thing. He still doesn't really have an Ice Beam switch, so I'll just click it and try to get rid of something. Didn't run any calcs. Didn't run any calcs against this AV Excadrill. So here's some more pictures. This is the Southern Ring Nebula. Very, very pretty pictures here. These are both in the James Webb Space Telescope, just with different types of cameras. One was like fully infrared and one was like near infrared. But this shows us what it looks like when a star dies. So that's what you're looking at here, is the aftermath of a dying star, of a dead star. So also, if you missed what was going on in the battle, his fucking Excadrill lived an ice beam because it's AV, and I didn't run the calc. I assumed that my ice beam would kill, and it didn't, and it killed my Europa. So I didn't even get a kill. So this Excadrill is still here, being a fucking menace. But whatever. Apophis is here. I have Trick Room. Something's gonna die now, right? Something's gonna fucking die. I'm just going to click Drain Punch and get some health back and make sure something dies here. Take a look at this picture. This one's actually pretty crazy. This is called Stefan's Quintet. It's 5 galaxies that are just kind of clumped together in the Pegasus constellation. The cool thing about this picture is if you look at it really closely, you can actually see the effects of these galaxies pulling on each other, like the gravitational effects. If you look really close at the big picture, it looks like the picture is moving. It's really, really trippy. Like, you can almost feel like the gravitational pulls between the two of them, and you can like see the shock waves and tidal tails and like gravitational effects and everything like that. It's a really cool picture. I know I just keep saying the same thing over and over again, but sometimes I just like scroll through these James Webb Space Telescope pictures for hours and just kind of get lost in them. It's just they're so great. I can't wait to see what else the James Webb Space Telescope captures and discoveries we're able to make with this thing. It's already done so much. It's completely changed like our understanding of astrophysics in the last 2 years. We've been here, our understanding of how old the galaxy is and the way our universe is and how galaxies are formed. It's just so cool. What sucks about it though is like it only has a lifespan of like 10 years because of the way that it was made. It only has enough fuel to last 10 years, and it'd be really difficult for us to send something out there to refuel it, and once it runs out of fuel, it'll slowly decay out of its current orbit. So the Hubble telescope's literally gonna outlive, which is crazy to think about, but like, I just hope that in the 10 years that it's out there, it's already gotten more in its 2 years than the Hubble Space Telescope has in its entire existence, so like, it's already been worth it, I think, but hopefully it can uncover even more in the next. Anyways, I Terra here and click Heavy Slam to try and get rid of this thing. I don't think he's going to click Fire Blast here. I think he's gonna finally reveal Dazzling Gleam. Plus he's not +1, so even if he does click Fire Blast, I'm still gonna live 1. So not super afraid in this position right now. And also at this point, like, if I'm just being real, I kind of have resigned to the fact that I have played this game terribly, and I am just going for differential. I'm trying to kill what I can, which sucks because I feel like I was just a couple plays away from it being really competitive. Like the misplay where I went Slow King instead of Dragapult was a big one. The turn where I clicked Heavy Slam into the Dream Tail instead of just Dream Punch on an obvious Rotom was also probably a bit disappointing. I could have done that would have been better. I don't know, there were a few of them, but whatever. We got rid of the Scream Tail, so Scream Tail is gone, so we've claimed 2 now, so that's something, right? But now Spectre's here, and now things have to die. I don't have a switch into this, so I basically just decide that Apophis is down here. And he's going to get his Chilling Neigh, or Chilling, whatever, how that's supposed to be pronounced. The Chilling Horse Noise boost, And then our plan is just to try and get as much damage off with Perseverance knockoff, and then just hex it there with Dreadbolt. So that's what we're gonna do. And while we're waiting on that, let's talk about some of the interesting discoveries that it's made, because I've showed you some pictures and stuff, and I've given you some little basic facts about the telescope. But let's talk about some actual discoveries that it's made. So one really cool thing I found was that in the Orion Nebula, there are these planets out there that are in binary pairs. They're big, massive planets, like think Jupiter, Neptune, like they're these big, massive planets. They're in binary pairs, so there's two of them they're just orbiting around each other without a star. There's no star at all. They're just floating through space, just orbiting around each other. That's so fucking cool. Now, we don't have a ton of information on this before, but like we now know that they're pretty common. Like we had a couple anomalous instances that we knew about in the past, but thanks to the James Webb Telescope, we know that this is actually a pretty common thing, at least in the Orion Nebula. And if you don't know where the Orion Nebula is, you can actually see it in the night sky, pretty much no matter where you are, even if you're in a city. I live in Minneapolis, and I can go out at night and I can see Orion's belt at night. It's just the three really bright stars right next to each other. I'll get a little picture up so you can see what to look for, but if you go out at night, look up into the night sky, and you see Orion's belt, just know that somewhere in that direction, in the vast darkness that you're peering into, there are two massive celestial bodies just whipping around each other, just floating through space at thousands and thousands of miles per hour. Anyways, we get in, we knock off, get huge damage off on the Spectrier. Spectrier is now claimed 2, but we can go into Dragonbolt here and threaten to revenge. Of course, he has no reason to let me take this, right? So I'm actually just going to U-turn, expecting him to switch into a train car. Honestly, probably should have just wisped, but it doesn't matter at this point. Battle's over. We're just kind of coasting to the end here. So I'll go ahead and share the next thing about the James Webb Space Telescope, and that is that we have, thanks to James Webb Telescope, discovered that some planetary systems have a very interesting. Now, most that we have found are pretty similar to ours, in that there's an inner belt and there's an outer belt, right? So there's an inner belt of like rocky planets. Sometimes there's like an asteroid belt mixed in, and then there's an outer belt of like gas giants, icy planets, dwarf planets, kind of like our belt. And those are usually the two sections that make up a planetary system. Now, thanks to the James Webb Space Telescope, we've seen that there are some that actually have an intermediate belt. So you have the inner belt, you have the outer belt, and then there's a whole belt within those two that contain more planets. And we are watching these closely. We weren't able to see any of these planets with the James Webb Space Telescope, but we detected their existence. So now we're basically pointing a bunch of telescopes that are on the Earth in that direction in an attempt to see if we can like find those planets and scope them out and see what they're about. So that's really exciting, and I'll get a picture of that system, the specific system where we discovered this structure, up on the screen so y'all can see, because this is a picture we got with the James Webb Space Telescope. In the battle, we see he did in fact go Tyranitar on my U-turn. And I, again, am playing for diff at this point, so that chip on the Tyranitar is really good, because it wasn't going to die to a Draco, so I get that chip on it. I go Slowking, I know I'm going to die here, whatever, I got my U-turn chip, I'm going to let this go down, click Draco, and hope and pray that I can at least get one more kill. Because 3-0 is a little bit more respectable than a 4-0. I don't know why, it just feels better to me. And we'll also get the last little bit up on the screen here. So we actually found this galaxy with the James Webb Space Telescope here with a really complicated name that I'm not even going to bother with. But the cool thing about this galaxy is that what you're looking at here was about 13.5 billion years into the past. We took this picture and basically peered 13 billion years into the past. and found a galaxy that was created 250 million years into the existence of the universe. A 13.7 billion year old estimated billion-year-old universe. We have a picture of a galaxy that has been around since 250 million years into the existence of the universe. This is a 13 billion year old galaxy that you're looking at, although it might not even be there anymore because of the way light travels through space. But like, just think about that for a second. That's crazy. It's mind-boggling. Yeah, the James Webb Space Telescope is a wonderful device. I'm very happy that it is out there, making discoveries, changing science as we know it, and creating a lot of rumors along the way. I mentioned before that supposedly there were detections of something very, very large, moon-sized, traveling through space that was self-correcting its course so that it is going towards our solar system, towards Earth. And every time it starts to veer off, it would self-correct. Now, I have looked and tried to find articles verifying this from when I saw these reports back in September, but I can't find anything anymore. And I'm sorry, y'all. I've dug and I've looked and I haven't been able to find anything. I don't know. Maybe it was just rumors I heard on like UFO Twitter or something. But I remember reading about that. I have such clear memories of reading articles about it, and I thought one was Popular Mechanics, but I can't find anything anywhere about it. So I must have imagined that, or something weird. I don't know. Either way, I hope y'all enjoyed learning about the Hubble Space Telescope. Sorry again that my video footage was so stuffed here. I got it all fixed and sorted out, so it shouldn't be an issue. At least for the rest of this season, until I have a game next season where it happens, because that always happens. But whatever. I'll catch y'all back next week. Hopefully we can bounce back. We're up against Gunk next week, and I've never played her before, so I'm really excited. This should be a good one. But yeah. Bye!